The Montana Television Network. This is the noon news from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon. We're glad you could join us today. I'm Aja Goare. An investigation is underway in Helena today, where 2 people were found dead in a home last night. The Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office calling the deaths suspicious. A concerned neighbor called authorities Monday night to request a welfare check at a home on the 1300 block of Cayuse Road in the Helena Valley. Sheriff's deputies arrived to find the bodies of a man and woman. Investigators say the 2 people living there were last seen alive Saturday. The sheriff now tells us 2 persons of interest are wanted for questioning.
Photographing, tagging evidence, and then processing it, and we'll have another parallel investigation looking for the people of interest, and we'll work to solve this.
The bodies will be sent to the state crime lab later today. The names of the deceased have not been released. Anyone with information should contact authorities. The 17-year-old Big Sky High School student who allegedly tried to run over the school resource officer on Friday has appeared in court. The unnamed student has yet to be charged, but faces charges of criminal endangerment, fleeing an officer, and tampering with evidence. The SRO and a probation officer were checking out a report Friday that a student brought a gun to school. As he was being questioned, the student got into a vehicle and allegedly tried to run over the SRO as he fled. The Montana Department of Justice says the SRO responded by firing his duty weapon. The student allegedly led police on a pursuit before he crashed a mile away from the school. We're told a handgun was recovered during this incident. The student is being held on a probation violation. A shooting at a school in Maryland this morning leaves 1 dead and 2 others injured. Police locked down the campus of Great Mills High School after shots were fired. Police say a male student pulled out a handgun and fired, wounding a female student and another male student in a hallway just before classes began. A school resource officer engaged the shooter and fired his weapon, killing the suspect. The shooter's name has not been released. The FBI is assisting in this investigation. Emergency crews are now dealing with a hazmat situation at a FedEx center in Austin, Texas. It comes after an explosion overnight at a FedEx facility northeast of San Antonio. Authorities believe it is linked to the recent string of bombings in Austin this month. CBS's Omar Villafranca has the latest.
Authorities responded to a hazmat situation at a FedEx facility in Austin Tuesday morning, hours after a package bomb exploded overnight at another FedEx facility in Schertz, Texas, just outside of San Antonio.
A package had been traveling along the automated conveyor when it had exploded.
The FBI says it's more than possible that the explosion in Schertz is linked to the recent bombings in Austin this month. A law enforcement source tells CBS News the package at the FedEx facility in Schertz was mailed from Austin and was being sent to Austin.
If you have a package that was not expected, if you are suspicious of the return address, do not touch it, do not move it, but contact 911.
4 explosions in Texas's state capital this month have killed 2 people and injured 4 others. The latest was Sunday night. A tripwire was used to set off the bomb. You can hear Sunday's bomb detonate in this home security video.
We want all video because we would look for similarities, we would look for connections, we would look for anything that might lead us to identifying the suspect or suspects.
If law enforcement agents are able to link the FedEx bombing with the 4 bombings in Austin, it would mark the first time that the suspected bomber is using a delivery service to try to mail one of the bombs. The first 3 in Austin were hand-delivered onto porches, and the 4th one used a tripwire, which means the bomber's methods could be changing. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Schertz, Texas.
Authorities say 1 FedEx employee complained of a sound injury from today's explosion. She was treated and released. Back to Montana for the second time. A trial for the Livingston man accused of causing a deadly crash while intoxicated ends with a hung jury. Walter Overstreet Jr. was charged in Park County District Court with 1 count of vehicular homicide while under the influence and 2 counts of vehicular assault. Now, prosecutors believe Overstreet was drunk when he crashed his truck, killing 17-year-old Rhiannon Willis in 2015. 2 others were injured in that crash. Overstreet's blood alcohol content was reportedly 3 times the legal driving limit. The clerk of court said today the case ended just before midnight Friday in a mistrial. This case has already ended in a mistrial last year. It's unclear if prosecutors will refile the charges. A spokeswoman for U.S. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke says she was assaulted last week by an operative for a left-leaning political action committee in Washington, D.C. U.S. Capitol Police filed a simple assault charge Monday against Wilfred Stark for allegedly shoving spokeswoman Heather Swift. Reports indicate Stark approached Zinke, yelling at him after a U.S. House hearing. Swift tells MTN News Stark came up behind her and shoved her aside as he tried to get at Zinke. She called the incident terrifying. Stark has reportedly been working for American Bridge, a PAC that supports Democrats, and has criticized Zinke. American Bridge told the Associated Press Stark adamantly denies the allegations. A wood stove is blamed for a deadly house fire in rural Sanders County. The sheriff identified the victim as 69-year-old Carl Storkson. He died in that fire that broke out Saturday night at a home on Clay Lane near the town of Hot Springs. The fire chief now disputing a witness claim that it took fire crews 45 minutes to respond to the scene. Chief Randy Wood says the first engine was on scene within 8 minutes of the 911 call. Before we get to break, the University of Montana's Vice President of Enrollment will leave his position at the end of the school year. The school says the decision not to renew Tom Crady's contract is not solely due to declining enrollment. The university is in the process of reorganizing the school's student services and recruitment. The decision to not renew Crady's contract comes just less than 2 years after he was brought on to boost enrollment and marketing. spokeswoman Paula Short will take over some of those duties on an interim basis. Short says President Seth Bodnar is implementing a plan to combine student services, including recruitment, enrollment, and financial aid, into a single department. We'll still head on the noon news. An autonomous Uber causes a fatal crash in Arizona. We have the details for you next. But first, Ed has our weather forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching MTN News with Aja Goare, Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and farm and ranch news from the Northern Egg Network. This is the news.